All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up, bro?
Oh, not a whole lot. Just doing another podcast today. Welcome to the EricSwahnRacing.com podcast. Today we got Ryne Snooks. Did I say that right?
Snooks. I don't know how you said it really, but
Snooks, Ryne Snooks, number sometimes 270, sometimes number 13, sometimes number 27, I think.
yes, sir. Yeah,
And
13 the first year. Trying to get a cool little mount going. But yeah, number 13 this year for the first time. I'm excited about that.
heck yeah, going from the triple digits to the double digits, this always seems like a milestone.
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely one of those things that they had to approve or whatever.
Yeah, so for people who don't know, if you're a first-year pro, you have to have a three-digit number so that you are signified as a rookie. But once you are second year, you can run the double digit.
Yeah, that's right.
And then it takes a while sometimes to get to the number one plate.
Yes, right. This top 10 would be cool to have a single digit plate or something like that.
Is there any restriction on having a single digit aside from the number one?
I'm pretty sure. Well, at least I know in club racing you have to have placed in the top 10 the previous year. But with the pro stuff, I mean, it seems anyone can run a single digit. Petrucci came out his first year and just picked the single one, and Josh Hayes, and they haven't run the previous full season, although obviously championship contenders.
I kind of like the idea of the 00 Dane Westby number. That's pretty cool. You don't see that very often. I don't think I've ever seen anybody run a 00.
Right. Yeah, just him. I got the little sticker on my bike, but I gotta have some balls for that one, right? Maybe when I'm winning or something cool like that.
Yeah, or like even you could do a 02. You could put a 0 before the number one or number two.
Yeah, old school.
It's something different. But you've been a road racer for many years. Obviously, getting to the pro ranks takes some time to do. So I just want to get your story and learn a little bit about you.
Cool, right on, man. Yeah, I started riding sport bikes probably about 10 years ago, and then just at like the age of like 19, 20. So I spent a bit of time on the street goofing off and doing my fair share of wheelies. And then probably rode for 3 years before someone talked me into a track day, and immediately started falling in love with it. Got the addiction right away, and continued track days for about 2 years. And then we did our first race at CMP in South Carolina. Almost immediately after that, I moved to the West Coast. But when we lived in Phoenix, I raced with Desert Road Racing Organization. I think there was only 2 years that came from that, but it was cool because I did the one race over here and then went over there, so I was still an amateur, and I did my race school over there with Sean and Varsky. So the whole year, I got to ride with him and trying to learn from him, and that was another immediate acceleration because he had that natural talent that he came and he did one track day and then he was racing and just winning everything and doing as good as Sean did. And there was just one other rider, so it was us three on the podium every race, and that was really fun amateur year.
Yeah, what a amazing talent he is, and is Sean and Varsky. Just looks like he can do anything with the motorcycle, stunt wise, and also racing.
Right. Yeah, he can control the throttle. I mean, I'm better than most that I've ever ridden with. When he was
in that
like young skilled
age.
Sorry
to interrupt, but yes, it seems like I know a couple of people who are stunt riders. Also, another guy comes to mind. David Gray was a huge stunt guy in the past, and those guys, man, they just get it. It seems like they have maybe mastered a part of the bike that non-stunt riders haven't.
Right. Yeah, and like I said, that throttle control with the wheelies, just that instant can turn on 1%, take off 2%. Oh, there's 3%. They're never wow, 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 wow. And that turns right into your mid-corner control. And then they have no fear. Already they've lost the fear of falling off the back of the motorcycle or whatever.
Yeah, they're not going to 12 o'clock it. They know how to control that balance point.
Yeah, the front wheel's on the ground, dude. I'm good.
Yeah, it's I think what some people struggle with is how far up your wheel really has to be to get to that balance point. Most people aren't even getting close to it, so that means that if it's not high enough, you're going to be accelerating to keep it, and you just have to go faster and faster. And if you're not shifting into the next gear, you're just going to run out of gear, and the tire's going to have to come down.
Yeah, for sure. His pro wheelie tip is never chase a wheelie.
Okay, so you just have to. I think the tip is you have to make the initial pop high enough, and then just balance it.
Get right up there, and yeah, exactly.
As I've been practicing actually my wheelies not on the motorbike, but on the on my bicycle, on the mountain bike, trying to get the mountain bike wheelies down pat before I move to the motorized vehicle.
No, for sure. That's an hour a day for 30 days is like the training that it takes. You got to do it every single day, and it's exhausting on the mountain bike. We did it. We had a little wheelie challenge where like first one that can do it, you win or whatever. Ed smokes me on the wheelies, but.
And I've been doing it. I think I did it twice in the last couple of days, and I can't. Well, I'm trying not to do it the very next day because at this point, man, I had such bad blisters on my hands from doing like 300 wheelies in 10 miles. I didn't want to do it the next day. My forearms were killing me. I'm like, I'm going to take a day or so rest off of this before I get back to it.
Yeah, 100%.
So you're down in South Carolina, it sounds like, North Carolina?
North Carolina, yep.
North Carolina?
Jacksonville, North Carolina. We're right outside the Marine Corps base, Camp Lejeune.
Okay. About how far from the water are you?
10 miles or so.
Not bad. Do you find yourself going to the beach pretty often?
Oh, honestly, no. I stay away from the sand. My wife loves it. She loves to go and go to the beach and relax or whatever. Since we've had kids, though, one day of getting sand everywhere with them was about all we could handle. So maybe soon, maybe someday again. But
so tell me about your family. Tell me about your family. You got kids at home, it sounds like. Got a wife. Tell me about all that.
Yeah, 2 and a 4-year-old boys. They're already ripping around on striders and their little Stasic, and they come to the track with Dad almost every time. We can't bring them to every single event when I fly or whatever, but it's been awesome. I can't even lie about it. I mean, I don't remember who came up with it, but to teach is to learn twice. So it's everything that you tell them, pick your head up, and turn your head, look with your arms or whatever. My 4-year-old's getting it. He's on his PW and has been riding that for almost a year now. And he listens, it's so cool because he trusts you at this point, and it's cool. We got a little track going around the flagpole and through the front yard or whatever, so he can just ride, and he's not scared to get it wide open throttle,
and he's on the 50cc bike.
What's that?
He's on the 50cc bike.
Yeah, originally it's still actually hanging up here. I took the seat pad off and just put a piece of foam on there because he's so short and small. But as soon as he was in control of it, he wasn't scared of it. And the Stasic just got him. I mean, it was like a little 3-step process of putting him on the strider, the Stasic, and the P-dub, and he was like 3.5 years old, and he was ripping.
Yeah, I hear that the pedaling on bicycles is a big deterrent for children learning how to ride, or babies really. So if you have where you're using your feet and then you put your feet up on some sort of platform or pegs, like those bikes, it sounds like that's an easier way for the kids to learn.
Yeah, 100%. Keeps it more focused on the handlebars instead of the feet, right? As soon as they start putting their balance off, they fall right away.
Sure.
He picked up his pedal bike after the electric bike. I would say even after the PW, after he was comfortable with that, then it came down to that. But that took the longest for him to learn, was the pedal bike. And I guess that explains why some adults don't even know how to do it yet, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of people who still can't ride a bicycle.
It's crazy. I mean, it's crazy. It's what a skill to have.
Yeah, and it's like Well, there's a saying, it's just like riding a bike because once you know how, it can be pretty easy.
Yeah, for sure.
Have you ever
Where are you
noticed,
located?
I'm in Sterling Heights, Michigan, so just about a half hour north of Detroit.
Yeah, yeah. I grew up in Warren, 13 and Chainer.
Oh, very good. I'm at basically what could be considered 20 mile, so Van
Yeah, yeah.
Dyke and Hall Road.
Right. Yep.
So yeah, not too far away. We're about 7 or 8 miles away from that place, I think.
How crazy. Yeah.
It's a small world.
Yeah, man. So you go to have you been to Sport Bike Track here? Like to their actual store and stuff?
I was there about an hour ago. That's why I was actually starting late. I forgot. I knew I even reached out to you this morning. I was like, "You ready for noon?" And then I totally missed my mind. So I went actually pick up a battery, Yuasa battery for a motorcycle. I plan on borrowing or renting my friend's bike for a track day weekend this weekend. And so I bought track time today. He said all it needs is a battery, so I got a battery today. Um, I bought the STT membership too, so I get the discount on track time a little bit. And then I hope to pick up the bike tomorrow and then ride to the track Friday or drive to the track and then do Saturday, Sunday, Monday with the holiday weekend coming up. Today is one of the last days of June 29th. Looking to do the track day July 2, 3, 4, I think it is.
Oh, sweet.
And so it just kind of fell in my lap. And I was trying to get another buddy's bike, but he said it was just bad timing, so I don't think that bike was going to work out. So I was like, oh no, I was planning on doing this weekend. Now I don't have a motorcycle. So scrambled. I sent a few people some messages, put out a social media post about it, looking for a bike, and I got one. So looks like it's going to come through for me.
Right. That's awesome, dude.
So
what track are you riding at? Are you going to Grattan or?
Yep, going to Grattan on the west side, just about 2.5 hours away. So just looking to do the advanced session for 3 days. I haven't done a track day on a big bike on a 600 since 2018, although I've been doing kart racing and mountain bike racing and sim racing and supermoto track days. I haven't been on a 600 in a couple of years. So it'll be really good to shake some rust off and the cobwebs and get back to pace and, feel comfortable again. I'm really excited to do that.
Yeah, work it up, slow to fast.
For sure. I go out there and just feel the bike, and it's a bike that I'm familiar with. I used to have a 09 ZX6R, and this is actually an 08 ZX6R. So
cool.
Very similar bike.
Right.
I think it has 1,000 track miles on it. It's a track ready bike already. So I can't wait for Saturday morning.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite. 09 to 12 was pretty prime.
Yeah, it was a great race bike. It was everything you needed to go fast. And, I just came into some financial troubles. I had a really bad crash and just kind of took me out financially. But my heart's still at the racetrack. And since I had that kind of a gap of not riding, I got into being a track marshal. So for the last year or so, I've been going to different tracks for Moto America, CCS, WERA, ASRA, ARMA for vintage bikes, MotoGP, and a bunch of different organizations. So I've been learning all the different ins and outs of behind the scenes and holding the flags and talking on the radio, which is a whole other side that the racers don't normally see. That I would recommend any racer go be a flag marshal for a weekend, try it out. You'll get some training and you'll see a whole different side of the sport you never knew existed. And I learned some stuff. You hear the facts from the track. You hear the kind of the gossip. It's like, oh, rider number 13 crossed the blend line, entering or exiting the track, or rider number 4.
Again.
Yeah, there's always like somebody who's screwing up more than anybody else. At any one day, there's always one person who's like, oh, that's our problem child today. And there's been times where like it might be a racing school, it might be a track day, it might be a race event. You never know what the situation is. But we had a guy at Blackhawk. It was it was a kid. It was his first ever track day and race weekend. And there's a couple of times where he stopped on the racetrack. Like, no, don't do that. Please keep going, go. Like, you can't really talk to him. You can't say to him. He's got earplugs in and his helmet on, so you're just like, go. Yeah. And then you just gotta talk to him afterwards. The race control brings him into the pit lane, like, gives them a talking to, and hopefully you don't do that again. But
come on, man. We had the last couple N2 events that I've been coaching with. They, we have people getting on, fall, they run over their bike, they immediately pick it up and put it on the kickstand. And it's like, dude, like we had the policy, like you get one chance, you can go pick it up and then ride off, and then at this point we're like, get away from it. Run away, run all the way to the fence. I don't care. Run far, far away.
yeah,
Because we're just so tired. They pick it up, they forget, like, oh yeah, I fell. Oh, my handlebar snapped. And then they just kickstand it instead of just push it back over on the side that's fucked up, dude.
Yeah.
Or excuse me, like it's all busted already. It's not gonna matter at this point. Just
Sure.
get away from it.
Yeah,
But,
you can totally
They're
swear.
ruining
You can
it
be
for a lot
yourself.
of people.
Yeah, man, you can swear, you can be yourself. We can say whatever. We can talk about any subject. I'm all ears. We just want to, show people who we are and not be anything we're not. So, but yeah, it's one thing I would say as a marshal is when people crash, they don't pay any attention to what's going on the racetrack. I've seen it so many times where someone crashes and they're just oblivious to looking behind them. What's coming at you? Now, as a marshal, the rule is you cannot take your eyes off of that racetrack. So even if I'm picking up a motorcycle, I have to be staring at what's coming towards me at all times, because if
Right.
another bike comes towards me and hits me, I can't help anybody. But I noticed racers, even though they're wearing all their gear, they're still vulnerable for a motorcycle coming flying at them at 100 miles an hour. So if you crash, look up track, look what's coming towards you, and you back away towards it. Don't just, sulk and cry and pout and slam your head into the ground because you're mad that you crashed. There might be another bike coming towards you.
Right. You're not going to go back to the pits and your team throw it back together so you can get out for the last 5 minutes of your track day session.
Right. It's unlikely that you have a team. You're usually there by yourself, and you're just doing everything on your own.
Yep. You're going to take it back, look at it, say, damn, go home. Don't
So
crash.
what's your
It's just it's a perfect example of why not to crash. You could break your bike, get hurt. Let's just not fall and not pick our bikes up in the impact zone.
For sure. So what does your program look like? Do you have a full team? Are you doing all the rounds? And what series are you running in?
So right now I'm brand new to the Stock 1000. For me, I don't have a team. I don't have a team that travels with me yet besides my family. Amy Jo goes to every round that I race, my wife, and then my boys. And this year is the first year of trying to bring a paid mechanic and to do that. I did the last year with BartCon and I didn't bring a mechanic. So it was really stressful for me to be on a new team and working with new people. And they made it really easy for me in the sense of everything but the bike. But as far as the bike, it was me. Then I started competing at a higher level and I was doing a little bit better than the years previous. And honestly, the work on the bike is a little bit more. So this year I really need someone with me. And that's why I haven't dedicated to a full program. There's a racer that I support, Logan Cunnison. He's 13 years old. He races with the Talent Cup.
Okay.
His dad asked me to be his mechanic this year because they have 6 races, and it's pretty good publicity for him and myself, especially because he's very talented. He's one of the smallest riders, so we have a good shot at winning. So far, we've gotten 8th, 6th, 4th, 3rd. So this last round there on the podium, both races, he was super, really motivated by that and building it up. The bike's been really good so far, and it's cool. So I've traveled to, we did Colorado, we did Washington just now, and then I can't remember right now the first race. The next one's in
Circuit of the Americas. I flagged for.
Oh yeah,
they did with in tandem with MotoGP. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, because we got access passes for all that stuff, so we got to go see the MotoGP teams, and a few of them brought us into their pits and the Moto3 pits. And Logan's funny because he sees all the racers and he's just like, "Who's that?
Yeah.
He's like, who's that? Oh, I don't care. He really doesn't, he's not intimidated by any other racer at all. He thinks in his head he's confident enough that he can win and beat anybody. You know what I mean?
That's good. Yeah, good to have that head on your shoulders and to not be too starstruck and just realize that these are regular people too. You can do this also. They're just very dedicated at what they do.
Right. They're professionals, and professional anything is hard to spend time with them because they dedicate their entire lives to what they're doing 100%. That's what I've learned is there is no slack. I mean, in your free time, you're working out, you're mountain biking, you're doing your eye training, you're anything. You know what I mean? It's a continuous task of working if you're not on an actual motorcycle. Like YCRS teaches that don't spill your coffee. And that's training from the moment you wake up. Is not literally just not messing anything up all day, taking time to ensure that every task you complete is smooth and efficient and completed correctly. And that's just the start. You know what I mean? Then it comes to your motorcycle and your everyday life and your racing, and don't screw anything up. Just try and do it the best, every single little thing, the best you can. That's a part of our program. So this year's like I said, it's new because I'm not racing full time. I don't have a full season planned for myself, except full season for Logan as the mechanic, full season traveling with them for the N2 Endurance Cup, which we didn't pick a teammate for him this year, so I'm just going to ride with him. And
nice.
So we did the first endurance race at CMP and got second place. I think we lost by 20 seconds. So we're really looking forward to the next one and doing better as a team. And we learned a lot together and got to talk some, and we're kind of setting the bike up neutral in between us. I'm 170 pounds. He's 100. So,
difference.
Yeah, I ride the jelly bike and he rides the stiff bike, and, he went faster than me.
Oh no. Well, he's 70 pounds, lighter. That's a lot of.
Yeah, it was within. I think our gap was within a second. His best time to mine, it was right there at a second or so. But I was like, dang, man, CMP is my track. I usually do really good there, but he smoked.
Cool.
So yeah, I'm kind of just taking a little time off myself to build that program. It may be the last year that Logan's here in North Carolina. They basically sold their house and are living out of the RV now, traveling around. So I think after this year, they'll probably do, stay somewhere more central or more local to everything else. His dad's out of the Marine Corps now. Okay. So he's a free man. And
he can travel around a little bit more and do what he wants.
Yeah, for sure. There's nobody to call, and say, what time you got to be to work or whatever for him. I think I'm working with somebody about something for Pittsburgh, so I won't spill any beans yet, but I think the people seeing me at the racetrack helping out somebody else, which is truly what I want to do. They also know that I love to race, so I've had multiple people ask me this weekend, hey, I've seen you at the track like 2-3 times now and you're not with your motorcycle. What the heck's going on? And honestly, I'm just working on my program for the shop and getting my name out there for that, making sure that I have a business that runs 24/7. And, but the gentleman from another team approached me and said, he's tired of not seeing me at the racetrack. He said, I'm willing to do what it takes to get you here. So I got to call him and figure that out. And more than likely we'll test that out at Pittsburgh. And then I can't do the rest of the year. Like I'll probably be able to do Jersey, but we have the Talent Cup at Barber as well. So it's really tough. You know what I mean? And going from, I've been at 4 racetracks in the last 4 weeks. We considered going to Barber this week. And if we do, that'll be 6 different racetracks in 6 weeks, because right after Barber, we're at Roebling. So I kind of want a weekend off, you know what I mean? But to be at 6 different racetracks in 6 weeks is freaking awesome. You know what I mean? Sure. Like it's a dream come true, truly. But it
Absolutely. It's like you're spinning plates, and like you're spinning these are doing great, but these ones aren't doing so well over here sometimes. You gotta sometimes take a break and like get things in order, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. You with juggling, they all have to keep spinning, but you can't spin one faster than the other and think you'll catch up. It has to be balanced. It has to all, and that's exactly right with the spinning plates, reference it. There must be balance. So I have to be here at the shop. I have to be at the racetrack, but I'm working towards being able to be a traveling racer a little bit more. Be able to, oh man, I don't want to drive home from Washington today. Why don't we drive to this track and then this track and then we'll get home? I want to be able to do that, take a 2-week or 3-week break. And that way we can take my kids to the flat track. I mean, Rhino, my 4-year-old, just tearing it up. So we need to get him to a little TT course or something, just to let him, so he has boundaries. He's in the yard, he'd blow past the cones and just say, "Oh, I can't see it."
Yeah, you know what? I did flat track for the first time on my Kawasaki KLX 300 Supermoto last weekend, and we were at Jackson Speedway in Michigan, and they have a kart track, there's a motocross track, and then the flat track, and we looped them all together, so we had 3 different tracks in one lap for some of the time, and
Wow.
it was pretty cool. And then I stayed on the flat track and just did loops on that, and was trying to figure that out because it was just groomed, so there's no real groove. And so just trying to figure out how to do that with slick tires and sliding, and try not to lay the bike down, and
Right.
trying to slide but not too much, and figuring out how much I can lean. And
More speed feels really good, but then it doesn't. It's like really good, and then you're like, wait, I got to turn, and then it starts to turn. You're like, oh.
And you can't use much brakes.
Awesome.
You can't use
My
your front
favorite
at
thing to
all. I didn't even touch my front in the dirt. And just using the rear brake, and I'm maybe second gear at the most. I'm not getting that fast. I mean, I don't know if it was an eighth of a mile or a quarter mile. It wasn't that big of a track. Probably eighth of a mile, I'd say.
Right.
But it's my first time on a flat track. I just try not to fall down.
Yeah, really. And I always do immediately, and then I'm like, oh yeah, it's super slick. You got to slow down. We have 4 TTRs that we use for the TT course or parking lots or whatever. We just change the tires out with 17s. And our local little flat track is just a load of fun. You get 6 of you out there on some TTRs or XR 100s or whatever. And it is an incredible amount of fun. It's so rewarding for $20, or $30, whatever they charge you, and then just a little bit of dirt stains on your pants is literally the worst that's going to happen. You could break a finger. I mean, I've seen a guy broke a finger, but I mean, besides that, the worst. Well, I guess our buddy Dino, give him a shout out in this one. He tore his nutsack open.
Oh no, that's a bad day.
Our track over here, the track around the shop, the shop's a 40 by 70 foot shop. It's very small. The track goes around it, so we're right here in the city. So it's like a half-acre lot with a little mini moto track, and the circle lot takes 10 seconds to complete the circle. It's not very big at all. But when you get 4 of us out there, it gets pretty hairy. I mean, it gets really tight, really small, really fast. And the pace gets hot fast. And if you're one of the guys who doesn't do it all the time, you usually crash. And poor Dylan. Hardcore. He's probably the most hardcore rider out of all of us. He'll be the most sendy sender there is.
Yeah.
But, lap 3, you can't be that sendy.
He's going to learn today.
Yeah. And one of his buddies sewed his nuts up too. He didn't even go to literally didn't even go to the hospital or anything. It's like hardcore, dude.
At home vasectomy.
Right.
So you got a couple more rounds, and I should be at Pittsburgh and New Jersey and Barber for Moto America. So I'll probably see you there from the side of the track.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, man. I'm definitely gonna race Pitt. Like I said, I got a little bit of some financial help for tires from Apex Pro Photo, who's local down here, and so I definitely have that set aside so I can get minimum 1 set. So I mean, now I just gotta pay for it and show up, and we'll go from there.
And next I might be riding Pittsburgh as well for some track days and maybe a racing school. So I haven't rode
The
the new
weekend
layouts
before?
since it was repaved. I did the Beeve Run, the old layout, which was like just over a
Right.
minute. I haven't done the South course yet.
Cool. It's an awesome. I mean, Pitt is amazing. We spent 3 days there 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it's definitely something special. It's one of the smoothest for sure. You can't find the
Tremendous.
imperfections in the layout like you can in other places. You know.
Yeah, there's a tremendous amount of elevation there, and pretty technical track, I'd say.
Great. What'd you say?
I'd say a pretty technical track.
Yeah, for sure. It's like turn one, you brake uphill. You
Right.
cannot see apex while going down a straightaway. You brake uphill. That's the same configuration as before.
Yeah,
But then
completely
when
blind.
you turn left, you go straight instead of making that right-hander. And then you go over like this wheelie hill, and everyone wheelies, even the FC07 wheelied over it. And the next two corners, really, you can't see apex from there. You know, you can't see into them at all. So for sure, technicality, knowing where you're at, picking your reference points, that stuff's all really important.
Yeah, and then
Keeping your
down
head
the
up,
hill.
just literally sitting up.
Yeah, what is it like? Turn 5, 6 down the hill, that all the way lowest elevation, and then you come back up the hill. I worked at that corner for Moto America last year as a flagger, and I think it was Wyatt. I want to say Wyatt Ferris. His bike crashed in Stock 1000 or Superbike Cup race.
Caught on fire.
It caught on fire. I was the first responder on that fire, and
Way to go, man! That thing burned to a crisp.
I was out there within like 15 or less than 15 seconds probably with the fire extinguisher in hand, and he is doing the give it to me signals. I'm like, all right, here, you know. And then I'm just standing there like, what am I supposed to do now? Like I don't have any other fire extinguisher handy, so I'm just here for moral support.
Put your hand in front of it.
Yeah, actually, my shoe got a little bit burnt from that.
Oh, I bet, dude. That was a big one.
Yeah, that bike was totaled. We couldn't do anything about it.
Might be able to like save an axle or something.
Yeah, it was toasty. And then we had to spend, 20, 30 minutes cleaning up the surface of the racetrack from all that fire and the fuel that was on there.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
It's interesting.
I appreciate the corner workers that do that stuff, man. I know it is not an easy job or a task, and I met a few of you guys like the hard way, but I like to meet more of them the easy way. You know what I mean? I was trying to go and find Peter. You know who Peter is? The older guy?
Yeah, I think the Wookiee.
Bigger, bushy beard.
I think they call him the Wookiee.
Oh, man, I hope not.
No, it's like to his face in a nice way.
Oh, okay, good.
But yeah, it's like a traveling circus of people. There's a network of people who do a lot of the rounds or do a lot of the different events. Many of them are retired. There's not too many young kids like me doing it. I feel privileged to be a part of it and that I'm accepted, and I just want to help out, and it's cool to be a part of it. If I'm not racing, I still want to be at the racetrack. I'm going to watch it on TV anyway, so why not just be?
Yeah, and you're giving back. You know what I mean? You're making the sport revolve. So
yeah,
that's what it's all about. And that's why we're trying to do a little bit of the N2 program and do some coaching. I can't do every event, but when I'm there, I do my sessions and I coach, and we try to do like our basic rider training course here. We'll allow it to anybody. They can come ride our TTRs any day of the week at Ready to Ride, and then
so that's the RTR program is the Ready to Ride?
That's the name of my shop. Yeah, Ready to Ride. Once we left Arizona, when we moved back here, I worked for a gentleman in this building, and they had to boogie to Texas for orders. His wife was Navy, so I bought the shop and bought all the stuff and kept the place rolling, but named it Ready to Ride. My coaching program, I think I'm going to call it Slow to Pro. I haven't kind of really released it or put out a dialogue or a program manual or anything, because I'm still trying to figure out how slow can we start and how fast can we get them going. And so far, I've taken normal street riders and a couple of them have become professional racers. So how really, how in depth is the program? How long is it going to be? Is it something that's a year long and it's something that you continuously work at, or is it something that like you buy the curriculum and that's it? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
because there's other people doing it, and I'm not trying to take away from like all the schools that I've been to, because they've only taught me to teach, you know what I mean? To teach my ways and to make, like, YCRS wants us to make other people faster, safer riders. And I want to make sure that I'm doing it the right way before I'm biting off anyone's head. You know what I mean? So as far as our locals go, the Marines in the area, and any street rider or dirt rider that wants to progress their riding, we're open to do it. And we just tell them, you're slow, but you'll be a pro if you do these things. You know what I mean? It's because I did it. I was terribly slow. Nobody taught me how to ride a motorcycle ever. They said, this is the clutch. And you rev it a little bit, and you just slowly let this out. Now you're moving. There you go. See you later. All right. Have fun.
Good luck.
That was all the lesson that I got. There was no like uses brakes or even how to use them or anything. So that's most people's extent of it, right? That's what they get. And then they fucking run into a tree or a car and they're like, I hate motorcycles, they're dangerous. And you're like, dude, you are dangerous. It's not right. Like motorcycle is not dangerous, the gun is not dangerous, you are dangerous.
And you have to figure out how to use the tool in the best, safest way, so that you can get the most out of it.
Yeah, 100%. Just making sure everything is clean out here.
Yeah. And it's cool to see people come from maybe novice levels to be able to make it to expert or pro or even novice racing levels.
Right.
To see them flourish and learn is very rewarding.
Yeah, 100%. Especially when they think of key things that you said or did, and then they thank you for it way later. You know what I mean? Dude, you remember this weekend there was one kid who pulled me aside and was like, dude, the conversation you had changed the outcome for me in my race. He had crashed twice already in the weekend in qualifying and practices, and I went up to him and I was like, dude, if you don't change something, like, you're going to get really hurt, and he was taken back by it. And I said, we need to make a plan. We need to really think about what we're doing out there. And if there's things that need to be corrected within you or the motorcycle, we do it. And if not, then we just need to get the head in the game and make a track map and start fresh. We may have to take a step backwards and finish 10th place for that to happen. He ends up going and finishing second. And I'm like, dude, what the heck?
Yeah.
He goes from like DNF, 8th place finish, 6th place finish to second. Like, okay, no more conversations for you.
Right.
No, but he did great. And it was so cool to, and then hear it, you know what I mean? And I don't do it for the self-satisfaction. I did it for him, just told him, one, so he doesn't get hurt, and two, so he's a better rider or racer, and it worked. And it was super rewarding to hear that, almost as rewarding as being on, our team being on the podium.
Yeah. And there's all kinds of different people and all kinds of different skill levels. And for me, in my coaching that I've done, I've already seen some people who are just super stubborn and pig-headed, and they don't want to have anything to do with anything you're saying for whatever reason. And there's other people who will accept everything you say, and they're just sponges and who just want to get better and soak everything in and really apply what you say to them. And you can see how they progress. And you see the people who are not really listening making the same mistakes over and over and over and over. And I don't know if I already mentioned, but I've been teaching this MSF course, Motorcycle Safety Foundation, lately. And for people getting their licensing for state requirements and cycle endorsement and all that stuff. It's people who have maybe never seen a clutch before, don't know what a throttle is. It's level 1, And so there was one guy in the course this past weekend who was just struggling the entire time. And, he asked to switch bikes a couple different times, and we switched the bikes. and he was still having the same issues, and it's like it's not the bike. And he was convinced it was the bike, and he wanted to switch again. I was like, it's not the bike, you know.
Right.
And I even got on the other bike and showed him, look, it doesn't stall every time I get on it. It takes away, pulls me away just fine. It's just you're not getting in that friction zone. You're not using the throttle the proper way. You're just dropping the clutch. You're just letting it out too quickly. You're not having a controlled release of your clutch as smoothly as you need to be able to not stall the bike. And you still stall the bike 7-8 times before you can get it going. I'm like, it's really hard to sometimes like impart your knowledge on somebody. I'm still struggling a little bit of how to, convey that information in the best possible way. So I'm sure you come into that sometimes too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I actually asked for advice at one of the last couple events that we were at because I was having trouble with that. But I was doing what you just said, kind of. I was telling him what he was doing wrong instead of saying this is how we do it, and that's key little coaching curriculum. There is like we go to the brakes like this. We like to let out the clutch extremely slowly and smoothly, so we start creeping as we apply the throttle. We like to, and then you're talking from a multiple instructor standpoint. Instead of saying, you aren't letting the clutch out smoothly, you aren't applying the throttle enough, it helps them think, oh, I need to do it like the pros or like the coaches. And now I literally just 2 weeks ago, that's where I could say it. But I was doing that. I was going up after sessions and saying, well, you're not really hitting the line. You could use the whole track, instead of saying, I like to use as much track as possible because the racers have found that if you go here to here to here, it is the fastest way through that corner. And the more you'll carry the least amount of risk by doing it like this, and you can carry more speed by doing this. And I'm actually doing it again right there. I'm saying you can do this, you can do that. You know what I'm saying? It's pushing the problem on them instead of saying that we have a solution. You just have to understand. You know what I'm saying?
Try to use the collective we instead of you.
Yeah, it's tough, man. You want them to feel like they're in charge, they're improving, they're doing the right thing, and also you're doing it wrong. You know what I mean? Like,
you gotta change. Something has to change, but you want them not to feel terrible about themselves.
Yeah, and that's tough. You want them to enjoy it, but at the same time, they gotta understand that they're just doing it. You're doing it wrong. So
yeah. And there was a guy who was beating himself up real bad. He was like, I'm not doing this right. I can't do this. I want to quit. I don't think I should continue. And I'm like trying to motivate him. Like, you only got 2 exercises left until the test. Like, you got this, It's like, I don't got this. I don't feel confident at all. I'm like, well, just take it slow, just, you're doing great. Just try not to stall the bike as much, and you're doing fine. And keep going, and just more practice makes perfect.
right.
It's sometimes try to motivate them to continue, because sometimes they sabotage themselves. Sometimes they say, "Oh, I can't do it. I'm gonna just watch."
Yeah, girls.
Yep, that's exactly. Yeah, a woman said that last time. She said, "I'm just gonna sit out," and because she dumped the bike, but it was like a 3-mile-an-hour crash. Usually, we're doing parking lot speeds. You're not going faster than maybe 30 miles an hour at
Right.
the most. And
This is a brake lever or foot peg or something.
Yeah, it was just a tight perimeter turn, really within the cones, within a short distance. And she just let the clutch out too quickly. The bike stalled, and she was leaned over, so the bike stopped, and she stumbled away. She didn't even hit the ground, but the bike, hit the handlebar, hit the ground, and she was all flustered then, and
Right.
Started sweating and get all anxious and embarrassed. And like, it's okay. There's no damage on you. You didn't even fall down. There's no damage on the bike. It has bark busters, lever guards and all that. You didn't do any more damage to it than the bike had on it in the first place. You know, these are meant to be fallen down and crashed. That's what they're learning bikes.
Right. They love hearing that, and then when someone else falls, then they're like, "Oh, thank goodness,
Yeah.
it's not on me anymore."
Yeah, for sure. So tell me about your training. What kind of stuff do you do to get fit and shape to do all this riding?
I have a gym membership. Haven't been much this year. I honestly, if I can, I mountain bike, and then I still work 40, 50 hours a week here in the shop. So wrenching and just our normal yard work at the house. We have a couple acres at the house with a little trail. So maintaining the trail and maintaining the house. And honestly, that ties me right up. And we can wrestle with the kids for a moment, but that don't count. I wouldn't ever consider that work.
Keep you on your toes.
Yeah. Honestly, I wish I am terrible about that, and that's something that if someone does select me and wants me to ride with them next year, I will dedicate more time to my racing program and less time at the shop. I'm going to do that. I know that means that I'm in here less, making more money, but I will do better as a racer, spending 2 hours a day doing the gym or whatever, and I don't right now because it just takes away so much. I mean, so much energy and time. There is a part of it that's like, yeah, it motivates you, and then there's a part of it that's like, dude, Friday I'm toast. I'm done. I'm like spent. I don't even want to do the weekend. And I've gotten to that point, that exhausted, So I'm right now, like we were talking about earlier, balancing quite a bit. And I haven't been able to squeeze it into my schedule yet this year as much as I'd like to. We also have a pool, so I'm in the pool once a week or so. Do some
Get
exercise.
some swimming, get some laps in.
Yeah.
And that's a good whole body workout. You get all the muscles working there, and just get a little bit. It's low impact on your body, so that's good about it. And
Right.
I've actually podcasted with two separate motorsport coaches, Just Schuyler on Instagram, and also Coach Chapluck, are two fitness coaches that are taking on clients for motorsports and racing and trying to get people more fit for that. So if you're ever interested, check those guys out. I haven't used them personally, but they seem like they know what they're doing and are, I think, NASM certified in the case of, I think both of them, if I'm not mistaken. So National Academy of Sports Medicine, I believe, and other certifications. So I know Coach Chapluck, Ethan Chapluck. He's big in Moto America. He's doing a lot of different riders now.
Yeah, Skim fits all the time. He's definitely active and has made his way to into the pits for sure.
I think he's got some superbike riders, some big names on his roster.
That's awesome. And that's what the sport needs, is some people to be dedicated in that mindset, and especially males. You know what I mean? We don't need, and I'd hate to say this, but we don't need a whole bunch of pretty girls running around the paddock trying to tell you how to work out and all this stuff. Like, it's just not going to work. You know what I mean? I don't.
I had
especially with people who have a family. I mean, God forbid.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they pull your boyfriend away. We're gonna go work out. Yeah, right.
That creates issues. Like, let's do some yoga in the tent, right?
We need some dudes to do it who are good at it, and like I've seen Ethan pull out the massage gun right trackside. Like, oh, let me knock that out, bro, and like helping. That stuff helps. You know what I mean? It's not weird. It's going to make these racers better, especially the sophomore.
He's hands-on. He's not just some guy in the background telling you what workouts to do. He's like at the track. Do you need any assistance? Like, do you need anything worked on? Like, I think he's a massage therapist too, right? So he can like work knots out in your muscles. And I've used that for years. I don't do it right now because it's expensive, but massage therapy is great. For a long time, I was doing it once a month. You're working out every day or every other day, and things start to hurt. And if you can speed up that recovery, you can get back to working out and get stronger.
Yeah, 100%.
Is there anything else you use, like any other things like cryotherapy or acupuncture, or you ever do any floats, things like that?
I haven't heard of the floats. Man, I've been recommended everything, dude. I think the number one thing is to drink water, 2, change your socks, and 3, if you're in pain, you take 2 ibuprofen and 1 aspirin, and if that doesn't cure it, you go see a doctor. You know what I mean? But I mean, drinking water is like you can cure 90% of your ailments by drinking more water. You know what I mean? And that's between that and riding. I mean, we ride at least an hour a week on something. The mini bikes, the TT course, or at the track. So
Something motorized.
yeah, something with a throttle. And then if you can do, an hour or 2 a week on your mountain bike, that's really, that's what it takes to get there. Now, if you want to go beat Sean Dillon Kelly, you want to go beat Brandon Posh or one of these young up and coming riders, these guys are working out at 6:30 in the morning. They're working out at 2 in the afternoon. They're stretching before they ride. They're drinking and eating everything correct. They're doing everything it takes. You know what I'm saying? So you want to go beat them? You quit your job.
Yeah, they're not doing drugs. They're not drinking
brother.
alcohol. They're not drinking pop. They're not going to McDonald's. They're doing everything super strict. They probably have a riding coach. They probably have a fitness coach. They probably have a masseuse of some sort, and a team behind them.
That's the whole other side of sponsorships people forget about. It's not just about money. It's about, if you get in with the local masseuse and you can get 50% off massages or something, that's a great sponsorship. If you can do any of those things you're just naming off, little tiny things, that is $75 every time you go, or $100. That's every 3 times a set of tires, or whatever.
I had a local chiropractor sponsor me for a season, and got some help with that and free adjustments for a year, and awesome. That's very helpful. It might not pay for my race entries, but it helps me afford other things.
Right. And once you have the financial burden settled, once you sell your house, every year and just keep going further and further in debt. No, once you have the financial part taken care of like they do, then you have to figure out the other part, and taking care of your body. And that's really their job. Just taking care of you. That'd be cool. Someday.
For me, funding racing was always the hardest part about it. Racing always came natural to me. I always was very fit. I've always been an athlete my whole life. I could never be a professional hockey player or soccer player or football or basketball. That was just never going to happen. But racing, motorsports is where I think I am capable of being a professional. And so that's the road I'm going down. It's just now I got to figure out how to fund it. So I took a step back from riding at sport bikes for a couple of years, and built a business, EricSwahnRacing.com and ShopESR.com, and now I'm an authorized dealer of 35 motorsport brands. So I sell from Moto D Racing to M4 Performance Exhaust to Revit, all kinds of different exhaust brands, hard parts, motocross, cars, sport bikes, a little bit of mountain bikes, and eBay, Amazon, and my own website. So doing this podcast to help market it. It's free advertising for both of us.
Right.
And trying to network with people now.
Yeah, that's a great way of doing it, man. And you gotta just have that consistent go at it mentality for doing it that way, right? Doing it online, because it's evolved since we started this conversation. Something changed. The part number is different. It's grown, this one, and I commend it, man, because that's some tough stuff. I've been working on my website for 3 years. It's awesome website, but I haven't published it yet. We were going to offer some product like apparel, but I went through one vendor and we built it all up. And within the last 6 months, they hit me up and said, "Yeah, we're closing this vendor. We're not going to offer them anymore." I never even published it, so I couldn't actually steal my product, So I lost it all. I got to restart.
Man,
So I'm just I'm just going to publish the website without the product at first, you know. I just wanted it to be a big release, but honestly, I raced full time last year. On top of the business, that was a full-time gig. I was saying I put in 80, 90 hours a week between racing and my shop. And then I never spent time with my family. My wife was ready to kill me or leave me, and my kids, you know, just didn't see me enough. So this year they come with me everywhere, and it's made the balance a little bit better, but a lot more work for me. And but my wife's helping with balancing that as well and making sure that they're involved and I'm involved. You know what I mean? Both ways.
Yeah, I would say with your website, just start before you're ready. If it's not perfect, it don't matter. Publish it.
Right.
Make it better when you can.
It always grows. It's just constant growth.
You can't make something better until you have a finished product. So you just have to publish what you have and just keep beating on it. Just keep trying to make it better. And one day it'll be great.
There. I've been paying money a month for my domain. I'm paying for my, you know, my $30 for my Shopify or whatever. I got to get it open. And I am a piece of shit.
That's all right, man. We all make mistakes, and I'm not perfect. Like I'm trying to get things done. I'm behind on, and it's just a constant struggle of you got to do this and got to work on this for a little while, and you got to work on this for a little while. Just like I said before, there's a lot of ways to peel a banana, a lot of spinning plates you got to attend to. So it's just trying to figure out which one's about to fall. You know, I got to spend some more time on that one now.
Yes, sir.
So tell me a little bit more about your shop. Are you building bikes for people? Are you doing maintenance? Are you doing full bike builds, dyno work? What kind of stuff?
Well, we've dabbled into almost everything, but we're finding our bread and butter of just doing regular maintenance. There really isn't a good shop in town that offers that: tires, oils, brakes, your necessities for these street riders. So it's been 5 years that we've been here, and at one point we had a dyno here. It was too expensive to run with me being the only person that's been through the dyno school, and I couldn't teach one of the guys at the time. At one point we had 5 employees here. Now it's just me and another guy. We've gone kind of every which way, you know what I mean? So I prefer it as the maintenance stuff. A lot of oil, fuel pumps, a lot of charging system diodes, but it's mainly just shoot, I want to do this one. Sport bikes. So
okay. Nice.
Yeah, there's about 30, 40 sport bikes in here at a time. Ooh. We just have the service bench and the toolboxes over there, and then our small counter, and very, very simplistic. Cramming a lot into a little hole, but
like Tetris.
Yeah, every day. But we're rocking and rolling, and I absolutely don't mind doing the engines and stuff. But when I'm in and out of town, it's like, all right, I can go to the shop and get all my caught up in my paperwork. Then I can do one engine, and then all right, well, it's time to leave town. When you run into one hiccup, and I don't have the space here to be like, well, let's just move this aside, throw a blanket over it, whatever, we'll come back to it. It has to all be cleaned up, put into a box, neatly organized, not messed up at all. And then that's impossible. So
yeah, it's hard to have so many tiny little parts. They have to be in perfect order in their own little workstation. And usually I see engine builders, it's all like it looks like a scientist's room. It's all like spotless and like perfectly clean everywhere.
Yeah, well, we do them. I normally do them in here. We got a little AC unit and this working bench. So this R1 motor's torn to bits and pieces right now, just sitting in those boxes because we had to wait on one little thing from Yamaha, and it was, it's been a 3-4 week ordeal. We're still waiting on it. So
everybody's struggling for parts right now.
Yeah, if you have it, don't break it, man. Don't break it right now. Not something expensive, not something like engine, or don't cartwheel your shit right now. There's no front wheels for Kawasaki's anywhere. Like, there's just, it is tough, man. It's enjoy what you got kind of time.
Oh
We
yeah.
can do the maintenance. We can do the maintenance and the little parts, and that's why I'd much rather, like I said, do that, because I do 6 oil changes today, and a couple sets of tires, and that's more than I'd make if we did one motor today or whatever. So you never get them done in one day.
Yeah, of course, the engine's a huge job.
Yeah. So I've done them. I do them. I enjoy it. But taking the time to make everything, all these guys building these race motors keep teaching me tricks. So now when you put a motor together, you want to use every trick. You know what I mean? You want to make it like, oh man, this thing would be really cool if we did this and did this and did this. And oh man, do they offer that? Yeah, well that's only $1,000 more, but we can make 6 more horsepower. We need to get that. Let's talk them into it. And every single package is $10,000 or whatever. And if I see a bill coming out of my shop that's marked like where I'm like, ugh, I don't like it. I don't feel comfortable giving people bills where I cringe my eyes at, I know that's how you make money. I know that's how business is. I'll sell you my house if you want. I'll sell you anything. I'll sell you anything. But when it's normal, like, oh man, this just failed and it's going to fucking cost me $7,000 or $4,000 or $2,000, hurts my feelings too.
Yeah.
Although, I'd love for you to pay for it, but I know that when that bill's high, it means a huge amount of work. A lot of work.
It's a lot of hours right there.
A lot of water.
And so you've got some sponsors, right, behind you, helping you out?
Yeah. This year, Law Tigers is helping me out. They're actually, blowing up all around the country. The first time I saw them was out west, but we see them at the racetrack quite often now.
Lawyers?
Yeah, Law Tiger, the motorcycle lawyers. And then Into Track Days is the track organization. They've been huge because they offer a discount for our military. Basically, all the Marines that we get into their program, they'll offer a discount for them or a free membership. And yeah, that's Apex Pro Photo helped me out with some finances for Pittsburgh as well, but this year it's been pretty much just Ready to Ride. Ready to Ride's covering almost everything, and whatever I've made during the traveling around selling stuff or fixing stuff or whatever.
I gotcha. And anything else on your mind you wanted to talk about today?
Sorry, just trying to get a little distracted.
No problem.
I don't know, man. I'm excited to have done another podcast with you.
Yeah, for sure. It's good to connect and good to reach out and
It's
see
pretty cool that you're right from my hometown area. I went to Cousino High School, so I know you probably heard of you go to Sterling Heights at 15 miles.
I grew up in Dearborn Heights, so around Ford Road and Telegraph area, a little further south.
Oh, okay, yeah.